Hello and welcome back to Drunk Approach. A very good evening to you and cheers. I love this pint glass. It says Henry's Pint on it. And that's my name. So I like drinking beer from it. It's a Kronenberg in that today. And as you may have noticed, there's a slightly different setup on my head. A few of you said in the last video that it was a bit echoey. That's because I've moved flat and this new study is kind of echoey and a bit acoustically poor. So I bought this and I like it. They're comfy. They don't look great. I mean, these are massive. Look at the size of these. I look like that guy in Star Wars. What was his name? He was like the assistant to Lando Calrissian and he had like metal things on his head. I'll flash a picture up because I can't remember his name right now. But this is what you're going to have to deal with from now on. The good thing is, if I put my sunglasses on, where are they? Where are my sunglasses? I kind of look like the real deal. Look at this. Kind of like Tom Cruise. A really budget version of Tom Cruise. But anyway, to the video. So today we're going to do a flight. I haven't done a flight in a while. I've been doing challenges and stuff, and they annoy me sometimes when I can't actually do it, and you've got to mix it up sometimes. So we're going to do a flight from Newcastle to Brussels. I will be flying this Airbus A320. It was developed by Tollis, and it is probably the best A320 you can get on X-Plane at the moment. It's really detailed, and it's got all the features you can think of, probably too many. So I'm going to show you how to set this up, how to set up the computer, the flight computers, all that kind of stuff for a relatively short flight. I think it's about an hour and a half, something like that. So not too bad at all, not too bad. So we're going to make sure our external power is connected. It is. And we're going to turn battery 1 and battery 2 on, like that. Then our external power as well. And everything starts to light up. We can also turn our crew supply of oxygen on. And we're going to align the plane so it knows where it is, basically. So little switch to nav on battery will illuminate and then it will disappear in a moment. Hopefully. Yes. And again. And a third time as well. Let's put our strobes onto auto. Nav and logo lights on as well. Seat belts, no smoking. And over here our emergency lights to armed. And then our fuel pumps. So we just want to switch all of these bad boys on, making sure there's no white lights left. And we can turn our APU, so put that there, and then we can switch our APU on. You'll see flap open, and in a moment that will say APU available on the screen, and at that point we can switch off the external power. And whilst we wait for that to happen, let's have some beer. The annoying thing about this microphone is that it dips into the beer, so I've got to do that, which is kind of annoying. And now you can see it says APU avail, so let's go back up to here and we can switch off the external power and switch off the external power here, and we're going to take the chocks away as well because otherwise I'll forget. We can also now put our APU bleed on because we're now running on APU power. Okay, let's program the MCDU or the FMGC or whatever you want to call it. We're going to go init, and then we go company route, and so the route today is EGNT EBBR. That goes in there. It recognizes it. Wonderful. Insert. Happy days. Flight number is going to be, what did I decide on? I think it was EZ, so EZY, because we're doing EasyJet. 4427. Pop that in there. Cost index is going to be 50. And our cruising altitude, cruising altitude is going to be flight level 350, 35,000 feet. Put that in there. And that is all good. And it is saying our temperature is 10 degrees. Balmy. Lovely stuff. Put that in there, 10 degrees. Let's look at our flight plan. So if we select EGNT, which is our departure, we can click that, and we can put in our runway information. It is going to be... what is it today? Runway 7 today. We'll pop that in there. Departure SID was going to be Girl 1T, no transition. Insert temporary, and then we need to go to our arrival. So if you click the down arrow, then there we go. We can go to the end of our flight plan, which makes perfect sense. And go to arrival. So ILS 25LX, 25 left, and it's the X ILS that we need. There we go. And the start is going to be Wadi 4B. Where's Wadi? Where is it? Ah, there we go. Wadi 4B. Nice. And our VIA is going to be Kerr 1H. Kerr 1H. There we are. Insert. Nice. And that's got all of our arrival bits and bobs in there now as well. It's saying that the QNH at Newcastle Airport today is 1024. So if I... No, not that. Give me... There we go. 1024. There we go. We can see that it has replicated here, which is good news. We're also, whilst we're around here, going to put in our departure altitude. So that's the altitude that we're climbing to when we leave the SID. And I think according to this chart, it's going to be 6,000. So that's our transition altitude, I should say. Okay, so let's go back to init and then go to our next page. And we've got to enter some figures here. And to help us do that, we're going to need our ISCS thing. I know that my head's going to be in the bottom left, so I'm going to put the screen, the ISCS screen there. Hopefully that's not in the way of anything. So let's go to loading performance and enter a few details. So passengers today, it's going to be 155. And if you're wondering how do you know these things, I filed a flight plan on SimBrief. If you don't use it, you should use it. It's really good. It helps with all this kind of stuff. Cargo, there's no cargo, so we don't need that. And that means our zero fuel weight is going to be 59 tons and 720 kilograms, which matches up with SimBrief, so that's good. And then fuel is going to be 6,006 kilograms, which is a very precise number. I'm going to make it 6080, so let's just quickly fuel up the plane and get that in. And in the meantime, zero fuel weight, we need to put that figure in there. So that's going to be 59. It's 720, but we can just round it to 7. 59.7 in. So our block fuel is going to be 6 tons and 80 kilograms. So we'll just go 6.8 of block fuel. Entry out of range. 06.8. Huh. Did I put it wrong the first time? I don't know. Configuration in terms of our takeoff performance is what we need to work out now, which is in this area here. We'll use 2. Flight plan, active, obviously. We're not going to use toga thrust. We're going to use the idents that are in the throttle. And we get these numbers here. And these numbers are helpful, because if we go to performance on here, we can enter a lot of these figures in there. So again, my camera is right in front of me, so I can't see the screen. 132, 132, 135 are the numbers for the V speeds. So 1, 3, 2. 1, 3. Oh, bloody hell. I need to work out a better way of setting up this camera, because it's really in the way of the screen, and I actually can't see what I'm doing. 1, 3, 5. In. Good. And then we can put our flaps and our THS, which is basically going to be our trim. So the flaps are going to be flaps 2, as we configured earlier. / and then THS is this number here. It says CG-THS 28.8/up 0.6. So what we're going to do is just put in up naught. Oh, that wasn't a naught. Clear that. 0.6. 6. There we go. And that goes in there. And then flex to temperature, that is here, so that's 73. So 7, 3 in there. Nice. Beacon light on. Runway turn off light will stick on as well. We're going to put our nose light onto taxi in a moment, but not quite yet. We will once we are out of our pushback phase. So I have better pushback installed, which I really like. It's really quite straightforward to use, really, although for some reason it seems to have decided where it wants to put me already. I mean, I'm happy with that.
Ground to cockpit. Plan acknowledged. Call me through the menu when you're ready.
I've had problems with pushback on this plane before. I'm a little bit skeptical as to why it's already predetermined where I'm doing my better pushback, but I will trust it, and I will press start pushback.
Ground to cockpit. Tow is driving up. Okay, all doors and hatches are closed. Ready to connect.
Good. Well behaved so far. Yeah, I'm happy that that's behaving as it should. So we'll go back in the cockpit, where it's a bit loud.
Tow connected and bypass pin inserted. Release parking brake.
Now, which button did I program for that? Is it this one? I can't remember.
Starting pushback, and you may start engines.
It was that one. So we're going to flick the switch, and then we're going to click the engine number 2 first. And if we look here, you can see our N2 value is increasing. You can see the engines running there, the second one, which is good news. Okay, now that they've pretty much started up, we'll do engine number 1 as well.
Operation complete. Set parking brake.
Parking brake on.
Disconnecting tow. Stand by.
Now we have an issue once again with the A320. Start fault. Low start air pressure. I haven't programmed any faults into this A320. I'll switch it off for now. What have I done here that's wrong? Generator fault. Okay. APU bleed needs to be on. Engine 1 bleed. I don't think I need to do that. Let's try that again. There we go. N2 value increases. Good. That's a good thing. Is it because I started engine 1 too early after starting engine 2? Did I give it enough time? Maybe not. Oh, there's going to be people in the comments telling me I've done something obviously wrong, which I'm not aware of. Well, that seems to have started okay. Also, why is this pushback guy still here? Go away. Do I need to end the pushback? Didn't ask me to. Better pushback. Stop pushback? Stop pushback. Well, he hasn't buggered off. Oh, I'm going to run him over. Oh. Sorry. I just don't need you anymore, so I'm just going to... Yeah. Sorry about that. Why is he still here? Go away. We've completed the pushback. You told me we had. Are you drunk? I'm a little bit drunk. But I'm the pilot, that's okay. You're the pushback guy. You're going to be the best of us. He's not going anywhere, so we are going to have to run him over. Good news is my engines seem to have started okay now. I don't know why it didn't originally. I'm guessing it's because I just fired up engine 1 too quickly after firing up engine 2. Maybe. Anyway, we can now put this switch back to normal, and we can go up here and turn our APU bleed, which is behind the camera, off. So we're going to be flaps 2. There we go, and we're going to arm the speed brakes. No, arm. There we go. We can now turn our master APU switch off as well. We're going to put our taxi lights on and runway turnway lights. We've done that. Runway turnway lights. I always say that. Runway turn off lights. Lights. Jesus. I am going to increase throttle. And we are going to, I forgot about him, we are going to run over this this pushback guy. And I don't feel great about that. I don't. But he didn't move. He didn't move. Why aren't you steering for me? It's not letting me steer the plane. I am moving the pedals. You can see the pedals there are moving. I think it's got something to do with our pushback guy not removing the pin. Maybe, because he never did, because he never gave us the option to give him permission for that. And you can see my rudder is moving, but the plane is not steering. I knew this pushback guy, I called it. He was going to fuck me over in some way. Look at him, he's just still there, taunting me. I don't know what to do if he's not removed my thing. I'm going to have to look this up. I know this is very unprofessional, but I actually don't know. Tollis A320 nose wheel locked after pushback. It's likely due to be including the pushback truck still being connected or a problem with the nose wheel steering itself. In fact, some of this could be due to a glitch with the pushback plugin. Well, I think it is due to a glitch. Yeah, we're going to try and disable the plugin. Yeah, better pushback. Disable. And my wheel's turning. Yes. I think that was just a glitch with the plugin. Because usually at the end of the pushback it'll come up with a thing saying, would you like to disconnect, show me the pin, all that kind of stuff. And that didn't happen. That's the first time ever in my history of playing this game it's done that. And it only seems to happen, these things, when I'm recording. But you saw me troubleshoot it, and that might be useful. It was for me. I know what to do next time. Just disconnect the fucker. It's probably because I ran him over. He probably didn't like that. Okay, so we're just trundling along here. We're going to just do a few things in terms of auto brake. We need to put that on max. We need to check out cabin. I think we just press this button here. There we go. And then our cabin is now checked. And then we need to do our takeoff configuration. That is this button here. Everything is good. We need to put our predicted wind shear thing. Oh yeah, that needs to be on auto. Everything's green, so we are looking good for takeoff. Around here we go. My FPS is terrible today. I have no idea why. It's usually pretty good, but I am struggling. Once we're in the sky, it should be better. Probably because I've got a shit computer. I do need a new one. If you're really rich and watching this and like just have a spare couple of grand and you don't want it, you don't know what to do with it, you have too much money, please. It's getting pretty desperate now. Okay, we're swinging round here onto runway 7 of Newcastle Airport, my favourite airport, my home airport. I nearly always include Newcastle Airport in the videos I do, because I just think it's great. It's nice, it's simple, it's effective. I like the scenery. It's good. Okay, we're lined up. Landing lights on. Takeoff lights on. Strobe lights on. Engines to 50%. Okay, so engines have stabilized. So when we look down here now, you can see there's a few indents here. So CL and Flex MCT. We want it to be in Flex MCT. So there's CL, and if we go one more, There we go. We're in flex. So our R speed, our rotate speed, is going to be 132. We're going 80 knots. Looking good. And that is our rotate speed. The plane has just decided not to tell me. It does do that sometimes. So we're just going to increase. There we go. About 10 degrees climb. Gear up. Which one was landing gear? That one? Yeah. Okay, so we're climbing nicely at the moment. So our auto throttle is already engaged, which is good. We're going to click our heading knob now. Come on. There we go. No, not that. Do that. Do the opposite of that. There we go. Nice. And I'm going to manually fly the first bit of this, just because I feel like if you don't fly the plane, then there's no point in really doing this. Do you know what I mean? Our flaps away, which is good. That's what we're dealing with at the moment. Nice little view of the northeast coast as we climb out of Tyneside, and we're just going to do a nice right turn. My yoke is a bit stiff, as they say, which means it's a bit jolty sometimes when I'm turning it. So if you see me just suddenly jolt the plane whilst I'm flying it, that's the reason. I'm not that drunk. I'm happy with that first turn. So what I'm now going to do is I'm going to click autopilot, and that means the plane will fly itself. So now we can select our cruising altitude. So I'm going to put in 35,000 feet and go like that. And now it knows that I want to climb to 35,000 feet. It will start lifting the nose. It will go into climb mode. There we go. And we are now climbing to 30,000 feet, 35,000 feet, I should say. And life is good on the EasyJet A320. Very good. Now that we're going as well, I can unarm the speed brakes. Come on. There we go. I can also turn off our landing lights. Really, you should wait till 10,000 feet, I think, to do this. I'm at 7,000. Go on, write me up. Nose light can go off. Runway turn off light can go off as well, and everything else is okay. It knows there's an altitude restriction, so it's not going to let me climb more than 8,000 feet, which is very clever. We've got an overspeed warning. That's interesting. We are going incredibly fast, and I did not ask it to do that. Why have you done this to me? I mean, it is starting to climb now, so it will naturally slow down. I have broken the speed limit of not only this particular bit of airspace, but also the plane itself is overspeeding. It's dangerously fast. I'm not entirely sure why it's done that. It was on nav mode. Speeds were in the MCDU. We're in climb mode. Autopilot's been switched off as well. Is that why? What is going on here? Yeah, so the flight's constraint is 8,000 feet. But for some reason we're at 11,000 feet and we're overspeeding. Fucking hell. Yeah, well, we're going manual. We're going manual throttle because this is just... Why has it done that? I honestly have no idea. Go back onto autopilot. But I am controlling the throttle. I've also just noticed we're now plummeting to our deaths. That's because we're still in the altitude restriction window. I am going to apply speed brakes here because we are going to overspeed again. Any moment now we'll get an alarm saying we're overspeeding. Unless I've just caught it in time. Basically, this has all gone horribly wrong. It doesn't know what speed it needs to be at. It got confused and turned the autopilot off and climbed to an enormous altitude. I've done something wrong. Clearly. Please tell me in the comments. Speed. Oh, look at that. Look at that speed there. That's a mistake. What I didn't notice is that at 8,900 feet, for some reason, it decided we should be going 340 knots. That is honestly baffling. I don't know why it's programmed that in. This is why I'm always hesitant to call these videos tutorials, because as this has confirmed, I really don't know what I'm doing. I have a set menu of instructions that I do every time, but every time I fly this plane, this Tollis A320, something weird and wonderful but devastating happens, and I have to rethink everything about what I know about this plane. I thought I knew it well. Clearly I don't. But it's flying in the air, and that is all you can ask for, really, at the end of the day. Well, we're at 27,000 feet. Things are going better than earlier. So this is where we are. We're just about to go over Leeds, and then we'll travel a bit over to the east coast of England, over the Channel, or the North Sea at that point, and into Belgium, and landing at Brussels. I mean, things have happened today that I actually just can't explain. It's behaved in ways I never thought possible. But we have to adapt, we have to overcome, we have to survive, and we need more beer. Bit of a crap head on that, but... The good news is there's no passengers in here to report back to other people what happened here today. It's just me. This falls on me and my conscience. Cruising away from East Anglia at the moment. That is where we are. Across the North Sea. And things will start to get a little bit busier around here. Okay, we are now over the Netherlands. And it looks nice. This is our approach in, and the ILS that we need is 110.35. I'm going to write that down because I will immediately forget that. And then our decision height, our decision altitude is there, 250. QNH when we arrive is going to be 1017. QNH was going to be 1017 in. Temperature 16 degrees. Barrow, that's our decision height, that's going to be 250. 250 in. Our wind, it just says variable at 1 knot, so I'm just going to put 60. Ugh, where's the slash? My camera's in the way. 60/1. Put that in. Full landing configurations, that's full flaps. Approach speed is going to be 134, that's fine. Let's go to our radio page though, actually, rad nav, and yes, 110.35 is locked in there. Let's also, whilst we're here, have a look at our auto brakes. So we'll put them on low. One of the things we need to put in is our descent altitude, what we'd like it to descend to once we start our descent. And the ILS will be capturing at 2,000 feet. So I'm going to put that in now. I'm going to put in 2,000 feet. There we go. And once we get to the top of our descent, the T/D, I'm going to flick that knob, and it should, obeying all the restrictions and not overspeeding, it should fly down to that level. On our MCDU, our top of descent is here, about 8 nautical miles after Orcav. There is Orcav, and that little arrow there is telling us when we should start descending. When we get to that arrow, I will engage the altitude knob, and it should start descending. The annoying thing about this beer is it keeps attaching to the beer mat, and I don't realise, go to drink it, and then that happens, and a wet beer mat falls on my crotch. Okay, you can see that we are approaching this arrow now, so I'm going to hover over the altitude knob, push it in, and we are now in descent mode. We know that because on this screen it now says descent. Gonna change our QNH to 1017 as well, because that is the arrival airport QNH. 1017 set. You can see on here as well we have this scale where it's managing our descent and the speed at which we're descending. We're going to hope to stay within this kind of region here. If we start over speeding slightly, I'll use some speed brakes and whatnot, and that will hopefully help us out. But for now, we just sort of chill. When we get to around 10,000 feet, we'll start changing some lights around and just sort of prepping the plane, making sure it's ready for our approach and landing in Brussels. Okay, we are approaching our final approach. This is where we are at. We've taken a very tight corner here, so it's taken us quite wide because the plane physically can't turn on a sixpence like that. So it'll gradually come back here, and then we're in the end game here. So because we're at about 10,000 feet now, we can turn on our landing lights, and we're going to put our takeoff nose light on as well. So we've got that all sorted, and we are looking good. We're at 290 knots. There it is. That's where we are going to be landing. Okay, into our kind of final bank turn. It's a long bank turn. It's like a bit of a turn and then a straight bit and then a bank turn. So still can't get over how big these are. My ears aren't that big. Just to say, like they're not full of my ears. It's just how they look. Okay, so we're going to do a few things here. One is put our landing scale buttons on, and that gives us these magenta diamonds here, which we can use to help us get in the right position for landing. The other thing we'll do in a moment's time is press our approach button. So that is that button there. We're now turning on to our final ILS heading, so we are going to click the approach button now. And we are also going to take some flaps out. Okay, we're going to put our landing gear down as well, which is that button. We're going to spoil our speed brakes, arm them, check the cabin's all right. It is getting quite loud in here as well, so I do apologise if it's hard to hear me. There is the runway. We're looking all right. Speed is going down. We will be doing a full flaps landing, so we just got to make sure that we get all those flaps out in time. So once we get to around, I think 190, we'll do the second lot of flaps. Our approach speed is about 133, 134, I think it was. So there we go. Second notch of flaps has been engaged. There we go, and it's just pitching down. We have caught the glide slope, which is good. I'm going to do flaps again. Then when we get to around 1,000 feet, I will disengage the autopilot and fly it myself. It's all very exciting. So the nose is just pitching up now. You can see that's because we're decelerating and it's just trying to maintain our altitude. So we're going to do flaps full now. Final sip of beer. Important. Pre-landing. Okay, we are definitely confirmed on the glide slope now. I know that because on this screen it says GS, and also the magenta diamonds are all central and in line, which is a good thing. There are no problems on this screen either, nothing telling me off. This is the screen that usually tells me off, so that's good to not see any problems there. We're going about 134 knots. That is going to be our approach speed. We're at 1,600 feet altitude, so we'll let it just go down a bit more. An alarm is going off. OM. OM. The OM has stopped. That's another new warning that I didn't know existed. OM. What does that mean? Oh my god, you're going to crash? Okay, that's 1,000 feet. We are going to disengage autopilot and auto throttle. Oh, I can't see the alarm switches. There we go. I'm in charge of the throttle. I'm going to just bring it back a little bit, and my seat's just gone out of alignment there. Not ideal when you're landing a Airbus A320. And we're going to bring it down nice and easy, making sure that our speed doesn't go too low. It's already telling me off about speed, so we're just going to increase the throttle a little bit. There we go. Okay, we're not looking too bad. I've not landed this plane in a while, so I have felt more confident in my life, but we're going to keep going. Speed is good. Just going to dip the nose slightly and pull back on the throttle a little bit. 400 feet. We'll be approaching our minimums momentarily. Okay, we're a little bit high, so I'm just going to... It's another new alarm. MM. Different to the OM. It's now stopped. Here we go.
100. 100 above. 50.
I'm going to just bring it
40.
in. Power's off.
20. Retard.
Pulling the nose up slightly.
5.
A little bit of bounce. Nose down. There we go. And it'll be automatically braking for us, which is good. 80 knots. And there we have it. We have landed in Brussels. Wasn't the smoothest flight. Lots of problems along the way. But, you know, it's all about adapting and overcoming those problems. And I think we did that today. I think we solved every issue we came across, which is always nice. Put our flaps in now and disarm the speed brake. And we're just gonna... I was trying to steer the plane with the yoke there. The pedals, Henry. Bring that around here. There we go. I'm just going to put the brakes on for a sec and just put our runway turn-off lights on. There we go. Oh, this is why you don't take your eye off it that long, because the plane has a mind of its own. No traffic. No traffic. Lovely. We'll just mosey on across then. And then, well, where should we park? Gosh, I hope they have a space for us. And then we're just gonna nestle it in here. Again, the camera's in the way, so my reference points are slightly off. I think that's roughly middle. Probably. Yeah. Put the toe brakes down there. Did I nail it? It felt like I nailed it. I did. I can't see the camera. Oh, I did not nail it. It was pretty close though. Not bad for having half of my screen covered by a stupid camera. Yeah, not looking too bad. Wasn't quite central. I was a little bit off, but let's see how it looked. Yeah, nose is a bit high, and there's a little bounce. Didn't get the nose down very quickly, a little bit of a delay there. But overall, I'm not too displeased with that. After what was a difficult flight for various reasons, yeah, it was a little bit heavy on the back wheels. Didn't get the nose down very quickly, although it wasn't too bad, to be honest. And yeah, it's just, yeah, I'm not 100% happy with it. I'm not too displeased though. Overall, everyone survives. That's always my bar. And the last view from the tower. Yeah. We'll take it. We will take it. Well, there we are. Thank you so much for joining us again. Hopefully you learned something from that, how to deal with certain problems. But there might have been some actual useful stuff in that. Or maybe you just like watching me drink beer for a bit. Either way, thanks so much. I'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.